Hello students, in today's class we are going to discuss the explained and detailed solutions of the previous year paper of NTA UGC NET December 2019 English. Our prime focus today will be on Unit 1 drama questions that appeared in the examination. Before beginning with the solutions and those questions, let's talk about some of the important things that are related to Unit 1 drama. The first important thing is number of questions. Total number of questions were 13 that were asked in the examination paper. The type of questions were fluctuating from identification based, that means what, which, who, how, where, when, etc. Match the column, and then the extract based questions. The difficulty level of these questions of Unit 1 was easy to moderate. Still, a perfect standard was maintained for the questions. Let's note down these things, then we are going to talk about the solutions of Unit 1 drama questions. Let's begin with the very first question in our solutions of Unit 1 drama. The first question here: which of the following plays by T.S. Eliot is in the correct chronological order of publication? The options given here are Murder in the Cathedral, The Family Reunion, Cocktail Party, Confidential Clerk. The Cocktail Party, Confidential Clerk, Family Reunion, Murder in the Cathedral. Family Reunion, Cocktail Party, Murder in the Cathedral, Confidential Clerk, and the last one option, Confidential Clerk, Murder in the Cathedral, the Cocktail Party, and the Family Reunion. The correct answer is the first one. If we talk about T.S. Eliot, he is one of the great and the most important poet, critic, writer, and even a great literary figure of the modern English literature. He was born in 1888 and lived till 1965. Among his some of the popular dramas, we find here Murder in the Cathedral, that was written in 1935. The second one is The Family Reunion, 1939. The third one, The Cocktail Party, 1950. And the last one, The Confidential Clerk, that was in 1953. So these were the four popular plays by T.S. Eliot. Let's talk about the next question. The next one, in the following list, which two actors belong to the Elizabethan period? The names given here: Richard Burbage, Will Kemp, David Garrick, and the last one, John Cambley. The combination given here is A and C, B and D, A and B, and the final one, C and D. The correct answer is the third one. That means Richard Burbage and William Kemp. The reason for that, if we talk about Elizabethan age, it was the time of the great flourishing of poetry and drama, and that lasted from 1558 to 1603. But even after that, poetry and drama got its flourishing in its own way into the hands of other writers. Richard Burbage, who was very famous at the Globe Theatre, survived during this time. William Kemp survived during this time, and he was very famous for the comical roles, especially the role of Falstaff. David Garrick survived during this time. He was a great student and also a very good friend of Dr. Samuel Johnson. Last one, John Cambley, survived during this time. So these were the answers of these two questions. Note it down, then we'll talk about the next questions. Let us talk about the other question, number 3. Which term among the following will be applicable to a situation in which a character initiates a scheme which depends for its success on the ignorance of the person against whom it is directed? The four options: conflict, intrigue, ally, foil. And the correct answer is the second one, that means intrigue. In fact, intrigue is a sort of a dramatic terminological word which is chiefly used in the dramas. Let me read the definition here. If a character frames a scheme, that means a kind of conspiracy, which for its success depends on the gullibility of the person or persons against whom that conspiracy has been directed, then it will be known as a intrigue. If you want to understand intrigue, then you can simply put it in the form of conspiracy, something wrong that has been destined or even framed against the protagonist in any of the tragedy or dramatic play. Let's talk about one example. Iago, who was in the play Othello written by Shakespeare, conspired against Othello, which is quite known to all the Shakespeare lovers. Let's talk about the another question. Question number 4. Match the characters with the play. The characters Donalbain, Claudio, Nerissa, Goneril are to be matched with King Lear, Macbeth, Merchant of Venice, Measure for Measure. It is to be recalled here that all these 4 plays are from Shakespearean plays. The correct answer for this question is second one. That means just the characters mentioned here are related to, let's talk about the characters here. Donalbain is a character in Macbeth. He was the son of King Duncan, who was murdered by Macbeth. The second one, Claudio, a very popular and well-known soldier in the play Much Ado About Nothing, again by Shakespeare. Nerissa is a female character that is in Merchant of Venice. She was a lady servant of Portia. And the next one is Goneril. Goneril is to be found in King Lear. She is the daughter of King Lear. So here, the correct answer was second one. Note it down, then we'll talk about the further questions. Let's talk about the next question. That is an extract in fact. Read the following passage from Antigone and answer the question. Creon, and yet were bold enough to break the law. Antigone speaks here in the response of his uncle Creon. Yea, for these laws were not ordained by Zeus, and she who sits enthroned with gods below. Justice enacted not these human laws, nor did I deem that thou, a mortal man, couldst by a breath annual and override the immutable, unwritten laws of heaven. The question here, the 3 kind of laws implicit in Antigone's response. Options: human, unwritten, written; of gods, Zeus, justice; of gods, justice, man; and the 4th one, of man, heaven, Zeus. The correct answer is the 3rd one. This is a play, a Greek tragic play that was written by Sophocles. Here, Sophocles. And in this play we find that Antigone is just going to make a perfect example of civil disobedience by going against the existed laws of that society. Let's talk about the next question here. Question number 6. Which of the following characters in Shakespeare's Love's Labour Lost overuses formal Latinate diction? Holofernes, Dull, Costard, Moth. We find the correct answer is the first one, Holofernes. In the play Love's Labour Lost, we find Holofernes is a sort of comical character. He is trying to show his presence of mind and intelligence, but still in the use of Latin language, he commits multiple errors, and this is why he appears to be a comical person in the whole play. So when we talk about a pattern of these questions, we see that the questions were chiefly asked from Elizabethan age, characters and plays of Shakespeare, dramas of T.S. Eliot, and also one question, that means Greek play. These all are some of the good topics to be studied for NET examination, and they must certainly be studied.